What's up, Guns Out Nation? I'm John Keys, and welcome to another edition of Go News. Today, we're talking all about GO.A.L.S, the Gun Owners Advocacy and Leadership Summit happening August 17th and 18th, just a few short weeks after Guns Out Range Day. Guns Out Range Day happens August 2nd and 3rd. While we're talking about that, I just want to give a shout out to all the people who RSVP'd so far for Guns Out Range Day. Right now, we are trending to have the biggest crowd ever. This is going to be absolutely epic because we have more vendors. We have, so this year we have doubled the amount of vendors. So we have double the vendors and all the same shooting experiences as before. So, I mean, the engagement, the interaction, the everything about Range Day is pretty much doubled. So we're going to just have an epic time. Thank you for all the people who's RSVP'd. Special shout out to our VIPs. That's right. We had VIPs. We sold 15 tickets this year and we sold out. We sold out the first 10 in less than 24 hours. We sold out the second 5 in less than 2 hours. Unbelievable. Thank you guys for your belief and your support, knowing that we can put on an epic event. All right. So today we're talking about GO.A.L.S, Gun Owners Advocacy and Leadership Summit. Okay. In my mind, this is going to be kind of like a SHOT Show meets NRA without all the controversy, obviously, and maybe a little bit of splash of USCCA Expo and a splash of Guns Out Range Day, because I've just heard so much. They have a stacked vendor roster and a stacked content creator roster. So we brought on Clint Morgan, the newest addition to GOA, at least as far as I know to date, to explain everything about GO.A.L.S. Welcome to the show, Mr. Clint Morgan.
Appreciate it, bro. First of all, it's always good to see you. And secondly, let me go ahead and congratulate you on the Guns Out Range Day and this being such a widely attended event coming very, very soon, which, yes, I am planning on being there this time. I am planning on being there this time. Man. I know I've said it before in the past. I'll be there.
No doubt, man. All right. So look, before we get into goals, let's address the elephant in the room. You are now, I'm sorry, say your title. I hate messing up people's titles. So say your title for GOA, your official title as of right now.
I got it, man. It's so I am one of the senior development and marketing officers. You might know John Farner, who's the other one there. We fall under Kaylee Neiman, who Kaylee, of course, is the director of overall of that. And she is phenomenal. I've been a fan of Kaylee since I was with Classic. And yes, that's probably the elephant in the room that you're referring to. I am now Clint, formerly from Classic Firearms. But again, no hate, no disrespect, no nothing like that to Classic. Nothing but love for them, as I've mentioned before, on my live streams and everywhere else and different podcasts and things like that. But yes, GOA is very excited to announce GO.A.L.S, as you mentioned, the Gun Owners Advocacy and Leadership Summit coming mid-August, right after your spectacular event. It's going to be a good time.
No, I'm excited for this, man. Listen, before we came up with Guns Out Range Day, I was already in some of the leadership's ear at GOA about, hey, guys, all you guys are missing is a convention of your own, right? A by name convention of your own. And that was like in year 1, because I just saw how hard they worked at everything it is that they do. And I was actually kind of shocked, because I was new to Gun Owners of America, in year 1 when they came on and was our biggest supporter and still our biggest supporter, right? And I'm just very happy to see this finally come to fruition. And, listen, man, timing, God's timing, universe's timing can never be more perfect. And I think that, you coming on with all of your expertise to step into this role and help them set up an amazing event, I think it's just absolutely wonderful. And we're excited to come cover it. And, we plan on covering this big. Like we covered SHOT Show big this year. It was a 3-episode series on SHOT Show All Access. We plan on doing the exact same thing this year for GO.A.L.S, and just really tell the story of why GO.A.L.S, why now. But before we tell that story, Clint, you're going to explain that to us. So why GO.A.L.S and why now?
Sure. So you are hitting the nail right on the head, because I'm one of those guys that have been calling for GOA to host their own event, annual event, convention, whatever you want to call it, for years now. I've done coverage at the NRA annual meet, and that's always cool, fine and well. I always get to see my friends, get to see some new product being launched, things like that, coverage, SHOT Show, and a couple of other events throughout the year. But the one organization that truly stands on a no compromise mindset, attitude, and also action that they take in the swamp, by the way, that organization had yet to actually host their own event. And they needed to make sure that it made sense for ultimately who? All of their donors, all of their members. Because quite frankly, GOA does something really good, and that's handling the members' funds well and everybody else's donations. They want to make sure that, I mean, dude, there was even a discussion before bringing me on that it made sense financially. So every dime that they spend, they want to make sure that it's going in a way that's going to be advantageous to the members and also pushing that Pro 2A awesomeness that GOA is known for. So why now? Because they've heard the voices of me, of you, of everybody else watching and listening for them to host such an event. Also, well, let's address another elephant in the room. This election is a spicy one. We saw the debate not too long ago. We saw ultimately, if we're being real, two anti-gun presidents pretty much go at it. Right. And so now all of a sudden it's like, we need to make sure that these people that are in these positions of power, ultimately, that are ultimately elected to represent us, are hearing us. And there's no organization better than GOA to actually get on the ground, again, in the ears of the Congress members that are actually out there voting for or against 2A legislation. It's quite frankly now is the perfect time for them to get involved. And it doesn't matter who's in the White House. They need to hear from every Pro 2A voice that this country has. And like I said, GOA is the best option for that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, man. So, okay, so what is what is the end goal for goals? Like, what is the takeaway or the best case scenario that GOA hopes to accomplish in this whole thing? And, after you answer that, then we're going to break it down and get into what encompasses goals. But what are they hoping to accomplish with this?
So ultimately what we're wanting to do is to get more in depth or more, I guess, deeper relationships with the manufacturers that already support us, with different organizations and different companies and even different individuals. You've got your gunfluencers and gun tubers, all that a lot of people know that will be attending. And so with that, we've got ultimately members that are going to be there as well. And now they're going to get a very rare opportunity, because unless you've gone to different shows and you've stopped by a GOA booth, have you rarely actually gotten to talk to a GOA team member? Well, now we're going to be there. We're going to be walking the floor, obviously, all over the place, open to the public, and you can meet us, you can shake our hands, and we can tell you exactly what each member's role is. Everybody from our IT guys to me, who's just trying to make sure a good event happens, to our directors, to you, your gun lobbyists, to the senior and executive vice presidents, being Eric Pratt and John Valleco. Everybody you can imagine that has anything to do with GOA is going to be here. And now it's going to be open to the public for our members, manufacturers, companies, other organizations, and of course those familiar faces that you see on YouTube and everywhere else, for us to meet, greet, mingle, hang out, and for that relationship to deepen and strengthen. And now members are going to also see, like, hey, your funds aren't just going to an organization, right? It's not just going to another 501c3 or anything like that, which is great and all, but now you're actually going to see the people that are there taking those same funds, donations, and using that to protect and preserve and hopefully expand the Second Amendment, which, if you see anything in recent history or the history of GOA, you'll see that, well, GOA is pretty good at expanding the Second Amendment where they can as well.
No, absolutely. And so, okay, so right before we get into breaking down the days, the different days, because this is actually a 4-day event. 2 days are open to the public and 2 days are set aside for something else. We'll get into that. So that's the takeaway for the GOA members, right? So that's kind of like that NRA annual meeting kind of aspect of it, right? Where you get to, the members get to go there and have FaceTime with the leadership that their hard-earned dollars are going towards, to give them the pat on the back for the wins, talk about what's next, and find out more things. Is there a benefit for non-members of GOA? Is it open to the public outside of GOA members?
Yes, yes, it is. So obviously, we've talked about the benefits for GOA members. Non-members, there is like a door fee, or what a cover charge, if you will. I hope this is a great opportunity for them, or they see it as a great opportunity to come visit, see again the manufacturers that they most likely love, because there's some big names going that, and smaller names, by the way. I don't want to leave out the little guys that are looking to come into the 2A world and the 2A industry and
This
get
is
their
long.
foot
I
in
saw
the
it. Yeah.
door. You know, so it'll be really exciting for them as well. But again, these non-members can come in. Again, it's going to be a really cool show for them at the end of the day. And additionally, they get to meet with the GOA leadership, GOA staff, and then really decide. And I think they will decide with ultimately becoming a member, because then they'll see the value in it.
Yeah, no, I love that. I really do. And that's kind of like the guns out range day aspect of it, right? The guns out range day is set up to where it's not just for your gun enthusiasts. It's not just for people who are deeply rooted in the Second Amendment community. It's like the walls and the barriers have been broken down because there's so many layers to the event. The event is enjoyable without even going and putting a hand on a single firearm, right? And that's how you get people to just come into the environment and meet the people. I've always said in the true Second Amendment community, the people are some of the best people in the world. And you will never know that until you just come into a room full of us and just realize that, hey man, we are literally God-fearing, country-loving Americans that just won't stand for a God-given right to be infringed upon, period. It's very important to know what you're getting yourself into, know who the people are in the community, understand the mindset behind being a responsible gun owner. So that's very important, man.
Well, we at GOA would place high value on that, because we want to see what the non-members, whether or not they thought it was a hit or miss. I believe a lot of the members are going to see this and be like, oh, I'm just glad GOA is doing this, right? They might already have a little bit of a bias, or it might be a bias in the opposite direction. Like, well, I'm spending money to be here because I donate to them every month, so it better be a good show, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So it could go either way. But something else I want to hit on is something that you talked about before, because the Second Amendment, unlike a bunch of other groups or organizations, they might just cater to one demographic or so. What I think is great about GOA and even other pro 2A organizations is something you got to understand is the Second Amendment, just like our Constitution, applies to all American citizens. It doesn't matter what you believe or anything else, as long as you believe in your fundamental right, your unalienable right to defend yourself, then you are welcome to this family. You're welcome, and you will be protected by what GOA does. I hope people realize that the Second Amendment, just like all other amendments, just like the Constitution of this great nation, applies to everyone that is a United States citizen. So that is something I think is really cool, because you're going to go to this show, you're going to see different demographics, you're going to see a variety of demographics, and also age groups, where we know that there might be certain demographics that are associated with other organizations. Might consider them to be along the lines of the name of an Elmer Fudd or something like that. But what you'll see at G.O.A.L.S, I guarantee you, is a younger demographic, a more diverse demographic, or I guess you could say a diverse variety of demographics. And it's going to be a good time, and I can't wait to see everybody there.
Yeah, no, likewise, man. You just kind of amped me up a little bit about it, man. So listen, you know who else was amped up? John Vellico and Eric Pratt. So recently they came out to our range in Stafford, Virginia. And it was kind of like a precursor to G.O.A.L.S. I felt like they came out to our range to put some rounds down range and to really just think about how to make G.O.A.L.S just more and more impactful than it's already going to be. So I could not pass up the opportunity to talk to them and get some sound bites on what they want people to expect from G.O.A.L.S. So we're going to bounce over to them and hear what they had to say about G.O.A.L.S.
Hey everybody, I want to tell you about G.O.A.L.S, the Gun Owners Advocacy and Leadership Summit. It is going to be August 17th to 18th. I want to invite you all to come. It is free for all GOA members. So if you're a GOA member, come, bring your family. This is a family-oriented event. There's going to be a kids zone for kids. There's going to be educational times where you're going to be challenged, your family's going to be challenged, but at the same time, we're going to have a lot of fun. This is going to be Christmas in August for gun owners.
We're bringing together industry partners, influencers, media, and most importantly, activists, because we got to put our shoulder to the plow and work on defending our Second Amendment rights, because boy, the anti-gun left is stopping at nothing to destroy the Second Amendment, and we need to take back lost ground and stop the onslaught against our God-given constitutional rights. So be prepared to work, but I hope you could come to Knoxville August 17 and 18 for the G.O.A.L.S Summit.
So there you go, guys. I mean, listen, you saw the enthusiasm in those gentlemen. They were on the range. And I mean, first off, it's kind of hard to not be enthusiastic when you're on the range. So I caught them at just the right time so they could really tell you what they thought that you should expect and want to take away from G.O.A.L.S. I'm glad that I caught them, and I'm glad I caught those sound bites. Now, Clint, now we're going to go into what are the 4 days broken up with G.O.A.L.S, you know, the 2 public days and the 2 days prior to. Talk us through those 4 days.
Sure, man. So the very first day, the 15th, is actually our exclusive range day. I want to say we have a number of different manufacturers, vendors, whomever that are going to be there to display their product. And as you can imagine, everybody that's going to be present on Media Day, which is the following day, are going to also be there to grab all sorts of coverage and hopefully show off a bunch of new product. Actually, there's no hopefully. There are still going to be some product unveils, which we're really excited about, because this being GOA's and our first annual event, for companies to say, oh, you know what, we were going to release this at that point in time, but we're actually going to wait. We're going to delay it just a little bit, or we're going to at least put out a prototype or a teaser or something. You know, that's really cool that people have so much respect and appreciation for GOA that they're willing to push product timelines and schedules to ultimately announce it at G.O.A.L.S, right? That's really cool.
Right.
The following day, the 16th, that's going to be that Friday. That is open to media only. And this is something coming from a guy who has a background in that. I am so appreciative that GOA did this for G.O.A.L.S. Let me break it down really quick for anybody that might be questioning what the advantages are of a media only day. So if you've seen coverage from different shows, and let's just talk about SHOT Show, because that is probably the if I could speak, the widest coverage show around firearms there is, right? And you'll also see all sorts of different people, some people that have massive followings, some people that are just streaming to their 3 viewers right then and there. And that's completely cool, because we love them all, because you're spreading the word of the Second Amendment. And what you're going to see is a lot of individuals cutting in front of the camera. You're going to see perhaps associates or representatives not exactly too enthusiastic to speak, because they've got a trail of people that are asking questions that might be buying their stuff right then and there. All these types of things happening, and it's just mayhem. It's chaotic, but it's still a good time, and I absolutely love it, even though my voice starts to go away by day 2, right? So with that, what GOA has decided to do is ultimately host for the Media Day exclusive, just media personnel. So these are going to be some of your favorite, gunfluencers, gun tubers that you already find on social media and YouTube and Rumble and everywhere else that you might find their videos and content. Well, now they're going to be having days personally aligned with these manufacturers and vendors, right? So I think this is a phenomenal idea, because now without all of the audio, the background noise, the issues with video, people walking in front of your camera as you're trying to film content, stuff like that is going to be absolutely avoided. Or if it does happen, it's probably going to be a cameo by somebody you already watch. So it's going to be a lot less pressure for those reps. And then the next days, the Saturday and Sunday, 17th and 18th, the open to public days, you're not going to have a bunch of media guys and cameras running around trying to get, clips and stuff like that. They're still going to be there. So if you want to see some of your favorite gun tubers and whatnot, I'm sure you'll be able to run into them down on the show floor. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot easier for those manufacturers and the different companies and organizations that are going to be there, for them to be able to ultimately do their job and help promote their products, help promote what they've got going on, because not all of them probably sell a product. Some of them might sell a service like gunsmithing and whatnot. And so it'd be really cool. Now you're going to get a little bit more, I think, intimate, if dare I say, conversation with these people without having to worry about all the stress of being on camera and things like that, because they did that the day before.
Wow, man. Listen, let me tell you something. That is a benefit in so many different ways. So I'm gonna just go out on a limb here and say, content creators, you're going to G.O.A.L.S. If you're going to G.O.A.L.S, take advantage of the way that they compartmentalize these days And what I mean by that specifically is on the public days. I mean, listen, we already have a range day. We're going to shoot the stuff. We already have a media day. We're going to be on the convention floor, right? That's what the media day is for. Like, so the range day, we're at a range. Media day, we're actually on the convention floor that the public is going to be on in the next 2 days to follow, correct?
Right.
Right. Okay. So we have the range day, we have the media day. If you're a content creator and you're still there on the public day, make the public day about the public. Because in my personal opinion, as a fellow content creator, I think there's nothing more eventful for a real Second Amendment supporter and or a fan of your content to actually meet and interact with you. I'm talking about, like, it's amazing. We've been humbled so many times by making people's days by just being approachable and speaking to them and acknowledging their presence. So I really think that that's great that they broke these days up so everybody can get everything they need. You get to shoot the stuff undisturbed, you get to film the stuff undisturbed, and then you get to really come and hang out with the people who make all of this possible for us too, because those same people that support the Second Amendment support us content creators that are making this content to help grow the community and help support the Second Amendment as well. So I think it's brilliant. I think it's going to be a real class act. I can't wait to be a part of it. This is going to be epic, man. And I mean, and the fact that it comes a few weeks after our range day, we're going to be riding off of that high because our range day goes ham. Obviously, GOA is going to be there. Clint's going to be there and a whole host of other 2A supporters and content creators and whatnot. I think that August is going to be a really, really good month for the 2A community, and I'm really excited for it. Clint, any closing remarks, any last thing that people should know? Obviously, you haven't told them where to go register and what that all entails. So any closing remarks, any last words that the public needs to know?
And so one big thing that is huge and why GOA actually waited so long to announce goals is, quite frankly, they were in a battle with the Knoxville Convention Center in Knoxville, the city of Knoxville, about allowing concealed carry because the convention center does not allow it. However, at G.O.A.L.S, you are legally able to conceal carry your firearm there as long as you have a concealed carry permit, or if it's reciprocated from a different state, whatever it might be. Lawful concealed carry is not only allowed, but encouraged at G.O.A.L.S. All right. So I think that's a really big deal. I think that's something that is truly awesome because that's true GOA fashion. They're like, look, we're not going to have it here unless you allow this. And that is that no compromise mindset that, again, I am honored to be joining this organization because of things like that. So again, lawful concealed carry encouraged, please. And look, as much as I would love to say, oh, what you carrying? Keep it holstered.
Go.
Keep it holstered, all right?
You hit it on the head, bro. That's why I even was compelled to say it because, like I said, you know, it's one of those things where I get asked all the time. Like when I'm at different events, if they know that I could potentially have a gun on me, they're gonna ask me, man, what you got on you today, man? What you know? And I mean, listen, no brandishing, none of that stuff. Let's just keep it classy and show everybody, the world at large, that thousands of gun owners can gather and everybody can be on point. That's
Well, put it this way: if guns are truly the problem, the country that owns almost 50% of the world's firearms, we'd have a much bigger problem if guns were the problem.
Oh, without question, without question. Listen, bro, don't get me started, okay? Because in politics, the math don't ever math to me, okay? And when you start incorporating numbers and statistics, I'm just like, how do anti-gunners even have an argument? Right? Like, how do you even have an argument when you really break down numbers and statistics? But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. Be ready for range day. Be ready for goals because it happens a couple weeks after that. We got so much coming coming down the pipe for the rest of the year for Guns Out, for Go News. And we're going to get Clint on the channel and on the range for something really exclusive coming real soon. Clint, once again, thank you for joining us on Go News.
Absolutely, man. And don't forget, you can get registered and sign up to attend G.O.A.L.S at goals.gunowners.org. I hope to see you all there. I know I'll be seeing you there. I'm not worried about that. But everybody viewing or listening, I cannot wait to see you guys there. God bless you guys. And of course, repeal the NFA, abolish the ATF, and let's expand that Second Amendment.